But first, our lead story. It seemed too sad to be true, and it was. The boy who claimed he was abandoned at the Salt Lake bus depot turns out to be a 25-year-old woman whose last name is Hoax.
The story evoked the best of the Christmas spirit, with hundreds of people calling and offering help from all over the country. Well, now Utah's Division of Family Services is trying to return the charity intended for a boy who claimed he turned 13 on Christmas Day. And others are trying to figure out how it all happened. 2 News reporter Michael Rawson is here now with the latest twist on this story. Michael?
She fooled me, Mary, but apparently she's had plenty of practice at pulling off this scam. Sheriff's deputies say Birdie Joe Hoax, posing as 13-year-old Michael Ross, has pulled off similar cons in half a dozen other states besides Utah, going back to 1988. Birdie Joe Hoax broke down and confessed to deputies today that it was all a ruse, being abandoned at a bus station, having a Christmas birthday, and a father dying of AIDS. And the biggest surprise, the boy is really a 25-year-old woman.
Basically, the reason she did this was to find a place to come out of the cold, and she could find it nowhere else.
And Hoax apparently has done it all before. Sergeant Vaughn unfolded her lengthy rap sheet detailing similar scams in Texas, Idaho, Montana, New York, Alaska, and West Virginia. It was a hoax, but Human Services officials say it brought out the best in all of us.
And I know some of you were brought to tears when I mentioned that very fact, that this child was born on Christmas Day. It put a lump in my throat. And that is the danger of this single incident happening, is that we damage the faith and the desire and the goodwill of people when this type of deception happens. That is the tragedy here.
Ms. Hoax is off the street tonight, and after a week in a boys' group home, she's behind bars in the women's section of the Salt Lake jail.
Well, how did authorities finally find out that she's a woman?
Well, they began hearing yesterday from social service agencies in half a dozen states who said it sounded a lot like the scam that they had been victimized by. And then this morning, caseworkers were faxed a mugshot from Vermont that matched Michael Ross, the boy who turned out to be Birdie Joe Hoax.
Okay, finally got it. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Stories like the one we just told you about can cause people to look the other way when someone really needs help and asks for it. But social advocates say the need of the poor should be taken seriously. At another news conference today, several groups representing the less fortunate.
Joe Hoax, a longtime scam artist. And standing by live with more on Hoax is News 4 Utah's Chris Van Oker. Chris, a lot of us are still reeling about this. She fooled a lot of folks, didn't she?
Well, Kimberly, this story of an orphan boy not only fooled a lot of Utahns, but also a lot of people around the country, ones who called with offers of food, clothing, and cash. But guess what? This isn't the first time or the first state he and or she has pulled this stunt. Birdie Joe Hoax's rap sheet is as big as the lie she told.
We have recently discovered from reports from other states that this individual is not a 13-year-old boy, but in fact is a 25-year-old woman who has, in many cases, entered other states with similar stories.
The story this birdie sang began in Salt Lake just before Christmas. She claimed to be a teenage orphan boy, one abandoned at a bus station. In a heartfelt letter, she wrote of her abandonment, of a struggling mother and a father with AIDS. A compelling story which fooled state officials for almost a week. A hoax made more believable by its holiday theme.
And I think that we had a fact that has now turned out to be untrue, that this child's birthday was on Christmas Day. Very compelling details, with very little corroborating information, and nobody really to check it out with, except this child himself.
But those who watch over children in Utah hope this hoax will not harden the hearts of those who wanted to help.
What we are concerned with is this one deception doesn't rob the Utahs and the American people who wanted to help children of their faith and hope to do so. There are almost 3,000 other children in Utah alone who need foster homes.
Now, Hoax has been doing this for about 7 years in 8 states, now including Utah. In fact, she's even been convicted of this and served time. And each time for Hoax, it's been the same old hoax.
Chris, I understand that twice this woman refused a physical exam, and state officials thought, oh, well, that was because of perhaps abuse in the past, and that might explain why nobody got the sex difference for so long. So how did the hoax finally unravel?
Well, Kimberly, they were suspicious, especially after yesterday's juvenile court appearance. So what they did is they ran a computer criminal check, got the information they wanted, confronted her with it, and she confessed. Now she's facing felony and misdemeanor charges.
It is incredible. Thanks a lot, Chris.